Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany Bundles, and today's video is going to be a story time. I'm going to be sharing with you all how I found out that I was pregnant, when I found out that I was pregnant, my reaction, just everything like that. So before we get started, be sure to give the video a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed. I am on my way to Ulta. I was debating if I should do like a vlog or if I should just record a story time or a business video, but I just posted a business video today. So if you are wanting to check out that type of content, be sure to check out the video right before this one. And yeah, we're gonna get right into the video. So if you've been following my channel, then it's no secret to you that I am pregnant. I have been doing my pregnancy updates very frequently on this channel, and well, really every week. I did start late though, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm gonna try to recall it as best as I can, even though it was a while ago that I found out. So I remember I was feeling really weak, and I felt like I didn't really feel cramp, like menstrual cramps, but I felt like stretching cramps, if that makes sense. Like if there were cramps that I kept having on and off, not excruciating, not like really, really painful, but they were enough to grab my attention. And the cramps would be like in my lower abdominal, and sometimes I would feel it in my growing. And again, it wouldn't be like crazy cramps. It just felt like I didn't know if my menstrual cycle was coming on, and that's why I was having cramps, or I didn't know if, I wasn't drinking enough water. Like, I really didn't know what was going on, but it wasn't, like I mentioned, it wasn't to the point where it was excruciating and I felt like I needed to go to the doctor or anything like that. It is very common for me to have premenstrual cramps, cramping like a week or two before my period actually starts. But those cramps typically feel a little bit different. They typically hurt more than I was experiencing with these cramps. So I didn't know really I didn't know what it was. Not just that, but I was really, really exhausted. I have low iron, so I get tired, exhausted, weak very frequently anyways. But when I'm pregnant, a lot of times I feel even more weak, even more exhausted. So I just found myself being really exhausted. I watched a lot of different pregnancy videos because, to be honest, I haven't had a baby in about 7 years. My youngest son is 7 years old. So that's that's kind of a while ago. I don't remember all of the first symptoms, and I don't remember, how I felt exactly. I remember some things, but not everything like that. So I was watching some videos to try to see if I could jog my memory to remember how I was feeling when I was pregnant, so that I can kind of like self-diagnose myself and know if I'm pregnant or not. My appetite was not like gone or anything like that at first. Wasn't having any morning sickness at first. I just felt really exhausted, and I just kept having those cramps on and off. My back was really, really hurting very bad. That is something that I remember. It wasn't like, my back tends to hurt very frequently anyways, especially since after I had my first baby. I went to the chiropractor after I had my first son, and he was explaining to me how the epidural a lot of times has a negative effect on some women as far as them having lingering back pain. So the back pain was something I was used to, but this back pain, it hurt really, really bad. And that is something that I've had consistently throughout all of my pregnancies. I've had bad back pain in the beginning. So that was kind of strange to me. I'm like, why am I having these bad back cramps? And I remember at the time, I was telling my husband, I was just like, my back is not feeling good at all. And I think he tried to get like a red rag and put it and like warm it up and put it behind my back. He even tried to rub my back, but nothing was relieving the pain. Like the warm rag helped a little bit, but I still was just in very, very bad pain, to the fact that I was trying to do anything I could to relieve the pain. I soaked in a bathtub. Again, I tried, I didn't have my heating pad, but I tried to put some water in a rag, wring it out, put that in the microwave, and man, it was just hurting so bad. I remember there were a couple days where I really didn't even want to get off the couch. I just wanted to sit because my back was hurting that bad. And I didn't take any medicine because, number one, I'm not really a big medicine person, meaning I don't like taking medicine. So if I don't have to take it, I really won't. I've always been that way. I don't want to say I've always been that way. There was a time where I was like, if I felt any pain, I'm just going to take a Tylenol. But I really don't like to do that now. I really don't. So I have, and I didn't know if I was pregnant or not. So I didn't want to take Tylenol or ibuprofen. I forgot which one you're not supposed to take while you're pregnant. I honestly forgot, but I didn't want to take any chances, and I didn't want to take anything. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just not gonna take anything until I know for sure. So that lasted for about 2 weeks. I would feel the back pain really coming on like at night, and I just didn't know. I'm like, well, you know, sometimes before my period comes, I have really bad back pain too. So maybe my back is hurting because I'm about to come on my period. And it's not uncommon for my period to be maybe a day early or a day late or something like that. So I really wasn't worrying. I did check my pregnancy app, and it said my period was supposed to come on in like a few days. So I just continued to go along with my life. I didn't take any medicine or anything because I didn't know. And that's just the kind of person I am. I'd rather be safe than sorry. But, you know, I just was like, I'm going to go ahead and wait. So the next day, you know, it was like one more day before my period was supposed to come. I was feeling my breast because I was watching a lot of different pregnancy videos, and like everyone almost said they had really sore, tender breasts. And I'm like, my breasts really don't hurt. Like, they don't really feel different. I mean, they feel a little tender, but that could be because of my period too. But it's nothing that's out of the ordinary. So that was that. Let's see. The next day when my period was supposed to arrive, it did not arrive at all. Like nothing happened. So I'm like, okay. And before that, I forgot this. Before that, a week before, because I just wanted to know, and I was just not feeling well with my back pain and like the mild cramping. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get an early response pregnancy test and see if I'm pregnant. Well, that test came back negative. So I just assumed that everything was fine. Well, about like a day after I missed my period, I was like, okay, so I'm going to give it one more day, and then I'm going to go and take a pregnancy test. So I gave it another day, and I decided to wait. The initial plan was for me to wait until I woke up the next morning for me to take the pregnancy test, because your first urine is supposed to be the most potent for the pregnancy test. So I'm like, okay, let me just be patient and wait until I wake up. But I really couldn't wait. I got a pack of pregnancy tests, where it was like 2 in it, I believe. And I'm like, I'm gonna take one tonight and one in the morning. And just in case the one tonight is negative, I'll feel better, more closure if tomorrow it shows, just taking it tomorrow to see what it says. And if it's still negative and I'm still having these symptoms, I'm definitely going to go to the doctor and get checked out to see what is going on. So at that point, I went ahead, and it was like late at night. I believe my husband was at work. My kids were in bed, and I just took the test, and I just waited. I just sat in there and waited, and it didn't take any time. It immediately said I was pregnant. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like my heart literally dropped. I took another test, said I was pregnant again. The first person that I called was my best friend, honestly, because I was just really scared, and that probably wasn't the right thing to do, to call my friend first before anybody. But like I said, my husband was at work, my kids were asleep. I knew my mom was probably in the bed or getting ready for bed, and I just was like, who else do I call? My friend, she's gonna answer more than likely. Like, if no one else answers, my friend's gonna answer, especially if it's at night, because I really don't call her too late. She doesn't call me too late. But if she calls me late and I call her late, best believe we're gonna answer to make sure, like, is everything okay? So that's what happened. I called her, And actually I had just picked up some food and I didn't even have a taste for the food anymore because I was just so shocked. Like, what? So later on that day, I was thinking to myself, like, not even that day, later on that night, I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, wow, like, what am I going to like, what am I going to, do? Not necessarily what am I going to do in that aspect, but I was kind of thinking like, wow, like, I'm really pregnant. This is real. So after I broke the news, and I'll do another video on how I broke the news to my family, my husband, things like that. But after I broke the news, then I was more understanding of why my body was feeling like it was feeling. And I started to, drink more water, get more rest. And I called the doctor so that I can get in. Again, I forgot what week they see you. But they were explaining that they don't see you until you're at least 12 weeks pregnant. And at that point, they asked me when the date of my last menstrual cycle was, and they found out that I was only like, I think 4 or 5 weeks maybe. So yeah, that really was kind of a bummer. They told me that I could start taking prenatal pills, so I went to CVS to get prenatal vitamins, and just got some like generic kind, and that was about it for how I found out I was pregnant. Didn't really have any like morning sickness like that right off the bat or anything like that, but I can tell you, when I hit like around week 8, that's when I started to have very, very bad morning sickness. And when I say very bad, I'm talking about the worst morning sickness that I've ever had with any of my pregnancies. I have 3 children that I've given birth to. I've had morning sickness with all of them, but not like this. What I mean is, around week 8, I started to not only lose my appetite, but I knew I needed to eat. So when I would eat, I would literally vomit. Like I would feel the vomit coming, and I would know if it was like a false alarm or a real alarm, because if I burped right before I was going to vomit, or if I burped and then I felt like I was still going to vomit, then that was a sign that, okay, Brittany, you're going to vomit, because it happened every single time like clockwork. So I was so sick and just couldn't eat anything without keeping it down. I would eat breakfast in the morning. It'd be something as light as maybe some yogurt, and I would vomit it up. I would drink juice, crackers in the morning, vomit it. Anything that I ate. So I already have low iron. I'm already feeling weak. So now, I'm feeling even weaker because I can't keep any food down. I'm waiting until like lunch and dinner to try again, and still couldn't keep dinner down some days. It was just not a good experience, like, at all. I continued to be like that all the way up through like my first trimester. Did not ease up, did not get better. My doctor did prescribe me like B12 and some other vomiting medication, which I did not take, to be honest, just because, like I told you before, I don't really like taking medicine, especially if I don't have to take it. I won't take it. And when I'm pregnant, I really don't want to take medicine at all anyways. So around week 9, I started to feel really, really just sick. Not just like vomiting sick or anything like that, but I started to feel really, really, really bad. Meaning now I'm vomiting still. Not only am I vomiting, but I have a headache. Not only do I have a headache, but now my throat is aching so bad. My ears are hurting. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with me now? So I ended up going to the hospital, actually the emergency room, and they did a COVID test and everything like that. And I honestly was thinking that I had strep throat. I thought that I had strep throat because I remember when I did have strep throat before, it was similar to how I was feeling. My throat was really, really sore. I couldn't really eat anything without it hurting. It hurt just to swallow, and it was different than a sore throat. It really felt like it was strep. So when I went to the doctor's office, they looked at everything and they were like, we're going to call you back with the results so you can look into your My Chart with the results. in a few days. While I was there, though, she did give me, I believe it was Tylenol that they gave me. And I was still skeptical about taking that, but I was in so much pain at that point that I was like, okay, just if it's safe, just give it to me. So she gave me Tylenol. She also prescribed me strep throat medication, even though she didn't know for sure that I had it or not, because she needed to wait until the test results came back. So I wasn't comfortable taking that medication, because I'm like, I'm not going to take strep throat medication if I don't have strep throat, especially with me being pregnant. Like, even if you say it's safe, I still don't want to, just try it. So I went home, I rested, I drank a lot of lemon water. I didn't really take any medication. I just kind of waited until it passed. I gargled with salt water and things like that. And I was just trying my best to get better. Like, I didn't have an appetite for anything, not soup, not crackers, nothing. So I was really, really weak, really exhausted. Back pain still there, still experiencing on and off cramps. By the time I got to like 10, 11 weeks, I started to not really, feel sick anymore. I started to overcome the strep throat. Come to find out, I didn't have strep throat. It was just like some type of virus, some cold, I guess, that I had. And I remember too that in the beginning parts of my pregnancies before, I would get sick as well. I don't know what it is, but it's very common for a lot of women to get pregnant, or not to get sick when they are pregnant, like in the first trimester of them finding out that they're pregnant. What else? So I was really worried about, just because I wasn't feeling well, I took the medication and I couldn't get in until I was 12 weeks. I was really concerned. I wanted to make sure the baby was okay. So I did look up like a clinic that they do different things. They assist women with abortions. They also assist women with like adoption. They assist women with providing like a proof of pregnancy. So I made an appointment there just to get an early ultrasound to make sure that everything was fine, and make sure I didn't have anything going wrong, because sometimes if you have pain that won't go away, or if it's like on one side, it can be a sign of tubinal pregnancies. So I just wanted to make sure that I was completely okay. So I did do that. Got my ultrasound proof of pregnancy, and I started to feel just a lot more secure, and I was able to kind of wait until I went to my first appointment. Also, in the first appointment, I knew, because I called and asked, that they weren't going to do an ultrasound or anything like that. They pretty much just do another pregnancy test to confirm you're pregnant. So that was really it. They do your labs and things like that, but there's no like ultrasound or listening to the baby's heartbeat or anything like that. But that pretty much took me up until week 12. All I can remember, like I said before, was really, really back pain. Breast was tender a little bit, but nothing that was really out of the ordinary. Mild cramping here and there, and my morning sickness didn't hit until around like 7-8 weeks, to be honest. Everything was before 7-8 weeks, I was just really exhausted, and I had those cramps, like I mentioned, with back pain, but nothing else to really worry about, or nothing else that really stood out to me. Also, my morning sickness got to the point where it was really bad to the that I was vomiting in the car, and just everywhere I went, like no place was off limits. It was just really, really intense. So that's pretty much my story time of how I found out I was pregnant, why I found out I was pregnant, not why, but how I found out I was pregnant, and then how the following weeks were up until like 12 weeks. So if you have a similar story, or a story that's completely different, I'd love to hear it. Be sure to leave it down below. I do want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.